You're lying. Stop lying, Paul. Lying,
Welcome to Flat Fry.
All right, enough with that. Enough.
Astrid Paul.
Damn, I missed.
Just banked it off the light.
Yeah.
Banked it off the light.
Would have been a good shot if that fucking light hadn't been there.
That fucking light
I would have pegged TJ right in his melon.
Paul.
What? Shut up. Shut the fucking hole.
Shut the hell up, TJ.
So we made some mistakes. What? Well, not us. We just covered other people's mistakes.
The Royal We.
Well, we published some stuff on this show that may not be true.
What?
What else is news?
Yeah. As you know, as
are you going to issue a retraction, TJ?
Yeah, we got retractions, man.
I don't know
boy, here
look,
we go.
I know the evidence, TJ. I'm not sure if I'm ready to issue a retraction.
So here is this one's maybe not necessarily a retraction, but just like an update.
An addendum?
Yeah. Well, you guys remember the methed out attack squirrel?
Uh-huh.
Well, turns out maybe that's a lie. Alabama man says attack squirrel not on meth, disputing officials' claim.
Well, I mean, there you go. Controversy already here.
I know, right? It was
on meth.
The outlandish tale of a meth-fueled attack squirrel just got even nuttier.
Oh, boy.
The wanted Alabama man, who police alleged fed a pet rodent methamphetamine to keep it aggressive, has spoken out while on the lam. Wait, he's a fugitive?
He is.
And he says his pet squirrel is no druggie. Mickey Polk.
Polk?
Polk.
All Pauls are the same, dude.
I know.
He's not a Paul. He's a Mickey.
Yeah, but he's a Polk.
Polk.
Probably a Michael. Or a Mitchell.
There is a Paul in his name.
35. He released a Facebook video on Tuesday alongside a squirrel after the Limestone County Sheriff's Office said he was wanted on multiple charges, including possession of a controlled substance.
I will say this guy does look ultra trustworthy.
If
you're going to leave your kids with somebody as a babysitter, top of the list.
Investigators raided a home in Athens on Monday looking for Polk after they were told he'd been caring for an attack squirrel. Polk wasn't there, but police found another man who they arrested on drug charges. They also found the squirrel. It is illegal to have a pet squirrel in Alabama. Officials said they released the critter into the wild as there was no safe way to test the squirrel for meth. But in his video, Polk appears to suggest he was somehow reunited with his critter pal, and not because the squirrel came back looking for a fix. They said it was a trained attack squirrel in a residence that was on meth, Polk is heard saying in the video. You can't give squirrels meth, it would kill them, I'm pretty sure, but I've never tried it. Oh, here's the video.
Oh, damn.
Come on.
It's muted.
Is it?
In the residence that was on meth. You can't give squirrels meth. It would kill them. I'm pretty sure. I've never tried it, but...
He's tried
Jimmy
it.
King executed a search warrant at a residence I used to live at.
That's true, though. I mean, if you have meth, why would you waste it on a squirrel?
This guy is just trying to hide his meth-fueled squirrel attack strategy here. He's just trying to cover his tracks. I don't believe him. That squirrel was on fucking meth.
Well, the squirrel apparently came back to him.
That
somehow.
squirrel was fucking tweaking. Well, I mean,
He probably just
grabbed another squirrel.
He had a bag of crystal meth, and he was like, squirrel.
Yeah, squirrely,
Hey, squirrel, remember me?
The 35-year-old said the squirrel is just over 10 months old and described his personality as being an asshole. He's a mean motherfucker, no doubt. But he's not a trained attack squirrel, and he's not on meth, I'm pretty sure, Polk said. I better not find out he's on meth anyway. I don't think he likes that shit. The squirrel is safe. The public isn't in any danger from the methed out squirrel in the neighborhood.
I don't believe him.
That's what he'd like you to believe.
Yeah, that's what he wants that fucking poor neighborhood to believe. And then somebody's kid is going to get dragged off by this fucking methed out squirrel.
Tra-la-la-la-la, I'm playing in my neighborhood. Safe.
They find like a little kid's body stuffed in a fucking oak tree or something.
Yeah.
We know what's going to happen, dude. The kid's going to be like running
Squirrel
around.
bites on his flesh.
I'm riding my new bicycle. This is great. Hey, it's a nice little squirrel. Oh, no!
10 months later, they find the little kid's skull stuffed with acorns laying by the side of the road somewhere.
He described the situation as a joke and assured the animal lovers out there the squirrel is doing well. I love how his primary concern is to defend the honor of this squirrel.
Yeah, he really doesn't mind that they're after him for like distribution and shit. He's just like, hey, don't besmirch my fucking squirrel, okay? He's not on meth, and he's not an
You don't
attack
mess with a
squirrel,
man's
okay?
dog, Paul.
He's an asshole, but
You don't mess with a man's horse.
that's true.
And you definitely, whatever you do not mess with a man's squirrel.
He clearly loves this squirrel, you know what I mean?
I mean, that's how it goes. Okay, so here's the other retraction. Apparently, the time-free zone in Norway was just a publicity stunt by a tourism agency.
What the
Oh,
fuck, dude?
All right.
Deceived again.
to get people to come over there.
Cher put it. No, she didn't. I'm not going to quote Cher. On June 17th, CNN published a story about the Norwegian island of Summeroy.
No, I'm not, GJ, I'm not gonna hear the story till you quote Cher. I want you to sing it. too.
Cher put it best when she said, "If I could turn back time, if I could find a way, I'd take back." Yeah. So then she said,
Nuh-uh.
"Take back those
All
words."
right, thank you.
All right.
That hurt you,
Shut up.
and you'd say,
La, 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 la.
okay.
Since publishing the piece, CNN has learned that news of the time-free zone was, in fact, a marketing stunt by Norway's state-funded tourism agency,
Whoopsie daisy.
Innovation Norway, working with its promotional organization, Visit Norway.
Did we not read this on CNN, TJ?
We did.
And what has our great president said about CNN?
Fake news. And here's proof.
Proof positive.
Case closed. Fake news.
We were right when we said that Summeroy, which, well, who cares what about you were right about? You were wrong.
We were still right, kind of.
The time-free zone, partly true, but somewhat overcooked by Norway's PR machine.
Jesus.
PR machine, huh?
They've got a PR machine over there in Norway?
Marianne Mork, head of the business communications for Visit Norway, confirmed to CNN on June 26th that an initiative for a time-free zone did originate with the islanders some time ago, with local Kjell Ove Vetting acting as a representative for the group. Hey, in Norway, H and V together don't do anything. Just so you know.
Yeah,
They just that's not a thing. Quit it with that. And by the way, and while we're at it, K and J together. That's not a thing. That's
Yeah,
not
I don't
a
like
fucking,
that either.
Stop it with that shit. However, the Innovation Norway team worked with the Islanders to capitalize on this effort and turn it into a tourism campaign. Yeah, I mean, I got to admit it kind of worked because I was like, that sounds awesome. I kind of wanted to go. But now I want to burn it to the fucking ground for lying to me. So that's what you've accomplished.
You're just easily deceived.
I know. Now I just want to see this island fucking bathed in flame.
Island where time did not exist. All lie.
All a fucking lie, Scotty. How do you feel? You feel deceived? I never believed it to begin with.
You know what? I mean,
I never believed it
for
for
a long
fucking
time now.
second.
I've said conquer Canada first. Where should we go second? Now I have an answer.
Norway.
Fucking Norway, dude.
Yeah.
They deceived us.
Because
man.
there's
I didn't know.
Norway, we can allow them to live.
Oh, boy. Oh, boy.
It's gonna be a long episode.
Yeah,
Paul.
just keep ululating, please.
Woohoo!
I'd rather have that.
It's a me, a T.
It's a me, TGO.
TGO?
TGO.
What a
TJ.
horrible character.
I'm going to make you some lasagna, Paul.
All right, go. I love it. Thank you. It's like a double helping, if you don't mind.
Sure.
I love lasagna.
This is good stuff.
Yeah,
huh?
I didn't know the Norwegians were such deceitful cunts.
Yeah, they are. So anyway, that's the retraction section. So anyway, the Donald community over on Reddit has been quarantined.
You know that incel one, when I was in the incel episode, they were actually quarantined too.
Yeah, a lot of the controversial subreddits do end up getting quarantined.
And now the Donald
And
has
usually
them.
being quarantined is kind of the first step of just being removed.
Right.
Because, that just tends to happen. I've seen it happen a few times with these subreddits. I never thought one as big as I think Donald is probably the biggest subreddit to ever be quarantined, I would have to guess, because it's huge.
It's almost 1 million people following
Yeah, I mean,
it.
we're talking like 3/4 people following this subreddit. You got 50,000 people on right now. And here is a quarantine notice that's been pinned, I guess.
By, I guess, Reddit admins.
I think Reddit admins actually have pinned this, so let's go ahead and take a quick look at it. Dear mods, we want to let you know that your community has been quarantined. as outlined in Reddit's content policy. The reason for the quarantine is that over the last few months, we have observed repeated rule-breaking behavior in your community and an over-reliance on Reddit admins to manage users and remove posts that violate our content policy, including content that encourages or incites violence. Most recently, we have observed this behavior in the form of encouragement of violence towards police officers and public officials in Oregon. This is not only in violation of our site-wide policies, but also your own community rules, rule number 9. You can find violating content that we have removed in your mod logs.
So they're kind of making an argument here that the Donald has these rules, but they're just not enforcing them at all.
Well, and plus there's wider rules of Reddit itself, and inciting violence is not okay with the rules.
Clearly the Donald has these rules, so the Reddit admins haven't cracked on them before. They probably didn't have these rules when they initially launched the subreddit. It's
not.
Probably just a way for them to keep the subreddit up.
But yeah, you see there's rule number 9, no threats towards government officials. I don't know why there should be threats towards anybody.
Well, I mean,
but
if you go online, you'll see a lot of people threatening government officials.
Yeah, and I mean, we've done it probably on this show. We haven't outright threatened. We've just said it would be cool if a revolution happened and they all got, decapitated in the streets. But we never actually said we would do it. So
right.
I guess that's the thing.
Like, we're lazy.
That's a fine line.
None of us are doing shit.
We're just like, if that happened, I wouldn't cry.
I don't think anybody would.
No, I don't.
I think most people would cheer.
Dude, me and you have talked about, like, if there was a violent revolution and people stormed the Capitol kind of thing, like, there'd be a few politicians like the Bernie Sanders of the world. People be like, yeah, we're not going to guillotine him. But, like, for the most part, there wouldn't be many.
Even if they did, I would just take the kind of like, gotta break a few eggs.
Yeah,
make an omelet.
I wouldn't support them guillotine Bernie, dude. But,
I wouldn't either. But
I mean,
he's lived a full life.
Yeah, he's old.
But he's old, so it's like, all right, the guy guillotine them all. Well, whatever.
I mean, if there started to be guillotines, I think Bernie would probably be one of the ones like, yeah, chop his head off.
You think so?
He'd be running one of them.
Yeah, probably. Take that, capitalist dog.
All right, let me pull the cord.
So as for this Oregon stuff, we haven't covered it on the show, so let's just very briefly kind of talk about it. There was some cap and trade kind of things on carbon. There was going to be a carbon tax.
Which they have in California, I believe.
Right.
Already.
And so Oregon, the Oregon Republicans said, hell no, we're not going to do that. And so they had no power in the legislature, basically. Because,
to stop it.
Yeah, because they didn't have enough votes, but they did have enough people where if they all just left,
it's called a quorum.
Yeah, a quorum. Where if they all just left and didn't show up and didn't vote, then there wouldn't be enough people there to even have a vote, and so they could stall the process that way.
Right.
And they did that. And then the governor of Oregon is like, fuck this, we're going to send out the police to find these guys, and maybe some women, I don't know, to find these Republican state senators that are not showing up to have this vote, and we're going to bring them here and force them to fucking vote.
Right.
So then one of these state senators, I believe, said that, if any police came after him, he'd shoot them. And then a bunch of militia groups got involved and said that they would defend the Republican senators. And it just became a giant fucking mess.
One of the guys that sending bachelors and shit.
The Republicans ultimately
kill anyone that comes for us.
And by the way, this strategy by the Republicans ultimately did work, and that bill is basically dead. So
hey, there you go.
I guess throwing a massive hissy fit and getting militias and guns and shit involved will actually get results. Strangely enough. So anyway, that's what happened in Oregon. So let's continue to read this quarantine notice. As we have discussed in the past and as detailed in our content policy and moderator guidelines, we expect you to enforce against rule-breaking content. You've made progress over the last year, but we continue to observe and take action on a disproportionate amount of rule-breaking behavior in this community. We recognize that you do remove posts that are reported, but we are troubled that violent content more than often goes unreported and worse is upvoted. User reports and downvotes are essential a way that Reddit functions to moderate content, blah, 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 blah. It just goes on and on and on. So here's their quarantine terms, I guess. Visitors to this community will see a warning that requires them to explicitly opt into viewing it, which I had to do just now. Custom styling has been disabled to restore the downvote and report buttons. So the next steps, unambiguously. I also noticed, by the way, that the Donald seems to have been pulled from the list of subreddits that I follow, which they don't mention here. But when I went looking for it in my list, I couldn't find it.
Is that something that happens when they quarantine?
I guess so. I explicitly had to type it in to find it.
Yeah, you do.
So even if you followed it previously, it's no longer going to show up on your little feed. At least it didn't for me.
Right.
So here's the next steps. You unambiguously communicate to your subscribers that violent content is unacceptable. You communicate to your users that reporting is a core function of Reddit and is essential to maintaining the health and visibility or viability of the community. Following that, we will continue to monitor your community, specifically looking at report rate and for pattern rule violating content, undertake any other action, blah, 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 blah. It just goes on and on.
They're basically saying the community's toxic and the community has to change and start reporting shit and doing stuff that's in line with Reddit's rules.
I have personally observed that what Reddit here is saying about this community, I've observed it to be true. Absolutely. I've seen violent content on there. I've seen racist content on there. I've seen basically all of these rules that they have posted to the side of this thing is broken.
Yeah.
Like, rule number 3 there is no racism and anti-Semitism.
Oh, come on. I mean,
and I see racism on this fucking thing all the time. I saw one the other day. I'll read it to you because I actually saved it because I was actually planning on maybe doing something about the Donald. I probably won't now that they've been censured like this because I don't feel like kicking them while they're down. But let's see. I saved it here. Fuck.
I guess maybe he didn't save it.
Here, screenshots, yeah. Here it is. Nope, that's Ben Shapiro.
Even worse, dude.
Ben Shapiro, here we go. It's okay. This is a person talking about the crime in Chicago.
Okay.
Chicago alone
Oh my God.
accounts for Illinois being a fucking dump. Chicago. Cook County gets hit by an atomic bomb, and Illinois would be fantastic. Take the, and then he spells it like...
Except all the fallout, dumbass.
He spells this as 2 words. Take the Negroes out of nearly any situation, and you'll have a prosperous, sprawling metropolis.
Wow. Okay.
So, I mean, it's not... There's no ambiguity there. There's no,
Right.
like, oh, is that a racist state? That's absolutely... I mean, like...
Chicago. I mean, I don't think there's any dispute.
I mean, come on now.
Is there any dispute that this person is a racist? I mean, I don't think they're even trying to be ambiguous about it. They're saying that it's basically black people that destroyed Chicago.
And here's one other person saying that if not for all of the illegals voting in the election, Donald Trump would have won the popular vote.
Okay, sure.
I mean,
sure
it's
that
just
would've
they
happened.
live in a fucking world of fucking delusional fantasy, basically, is what it boils down to.
Why don't you go live in Chicago then?
Ultimately, though, Reddit's already a cesspool of censorship and shittiness, so this is not unexpected. But in my world, the Donald would have their stupid little racist shithole subreddit to post Chicago memes in, because I'd rather have it out in the sunlight than behind a fucking veil.
So top comment.
So,
Absolute
top
horseshit.
comment is absolute horseshit. Conveniently, the day of the Dems debate,
It's a
something
conspiracy
stinks.
theory shit.
What I mean, you guys think? I mean, if you guys think you're wielding some kind of
Something
tremendous
stinks.
influence over the fucking course of the debates, you're fucking high.
Oh yeah, dude. They definitely
You're
this
high
was
on your own shit.
this was
fumes.
done particularly to keep the Donald from commenting on those debates. Definitely, that's why this was done.
Reminder that there are over a dozen subs that called for the assassination of President Trump, but TD gets quarantined.
Which ones are they?
Yeah, like which ones? Which
Yeah,
ones?
mean,
did
look,
that?
it would have been cool if there were links.
Citation needed.
Yeah.
I mean, if
you
you have
don't.
links
You
to
can't
that-
post something like citation needed on the Donald though. That'll
Oh,
get you
taking a
banned.
shot
You
at
let
Chapo.
politics, X chromosome, and world news, etc., get away with it daily. So at least this person's citing examples.
I guess a lot of people are blaming Chapo Trap House.
Not really
And
examples.
fucking Chapo.
That person at the very least pointed and made an accusation at some subs, but he didn't provide any examples of any of those subreddits.
Right. Chapo Trap House explicitly calls
Yeah,
for violence.
What? Where? When?
Link.
Why can't we just get a fucking link? Like, here, episode 13 minutes
I mean, it's not
in.
hard.
Yeah, 13 minutes in, Chapo Trap House violently killed Donald Trump. It's like, where is that?
Damn, we really are winning, huh? I guess.
God.
I haven't once seen a call to violence for police officers in Oregon here over months. What the fuck are they talking about? I have seen tons of calls for violence on this subreddit.
Oh
You're
yeah,
high.
that's a
Oh,
stupid.
damn.
You're
content-
either lying or you're
Look
high.
at that content removed by, or comment removed by moderator.
What was this?
Probably like,
So apparently something right under
garbage.
this was probably fucking like, yeah, violence. Wow, for 2020 election reasons. This is why they did it. I'm not clicking on a mysterious link to who knows what.
Good choice.
This actually pisses me off. It's a war. Election interference.
Well, also, a lot of them have the narrative that this is actually Reddit trying to interfere with the presidential election.
I'll tell you what caused this. The Veritas video. Someone is rising, noted earlier that accounts that linked to the video were being permabanned. The post was shortly yanked, and then this happened. They are seriously freaking the fuck out about the general public taking notice of their bullshit, and it's being discussed right now in Capitol Hill. Might be a good time to let your congressman know.
Yeah, everybody's got their reasons why this happened.
It's because they're trying to censor us before the Democratic debate. It's because of the Project Veritas video.
It couldn't be because you're actually guilty of the things that they said you're guilty of in the fucking post they made to you,
No.
right? Threats
That
and
would
violent
be
content
obvious
and shit.
because obviously there's none of that going on.
No.
I mean, it says right here, this post, since it's going to be a long, rambling fucking mess anyway, it should have just exhaustively posted all their
They
fucking
did
shit.
down at the bottom. Down at the bottom, they have links to shit that they've removed.
Where's that?
Isn't it right
This
there?
is the message
right
sent
there.
to us per request I'm sharing with you. Okay.
Yeah, click on that.
Oh, okay.
Oh my God.
Come heavily armed.
Oregon senator threatens violence.
Remove comment. Remove comment. Remove comment. It's like
So this is a log of the stuff they had to remove here.
Right.
Yep.
Over the last 30 days that people that outside the Donald
The
have
admins
had to
of Reddit.
remove.
Yeah, the
So
admins of Reddit,
Reddit admins have had to come in on all of these occasions and come remove shit, basically.
Yeah, that's what they sent the
It
link
seems
to.
like really what they're getting at is a failure to moderate the community within the rules of Reddit, and they're just saying, "Look, we're tired of moderating your community for you."
all that shit they were talking about with the upvotes, downvotes, Reddit down or disabled with custom styling any downvotes and the report button as well. And so
Yeah.
Reddit is saying you can't do that because that's how.
Yeah, because if you went to the Donald before, like there was no ability to downvote anything.
Right.
It was just like you clicked this was nothing, and then there was like Trump's face up here. You couldn't report shit. You couldn't fucking downvote shit.
So.
So yeah, whatever.
No, they
And
said
they're
the
mad at
Donald
it.
says they did that to prevent brigades of leftists coming over and burying stuff,
Right.
which is probably true, honestly.
Yeah, it probably is.
And now they're open to that again. So
Oh, dude, you want to see some? Look, TJ, Google censorship right here. Let's see.
I've watched it actually. I saw this. So on DuckDuckGo, you get all the fucking creepy shit about Joe Biden, but on Google, you don't. See, on DuckDuckGo, creepy with girls.
Creepy meme, all that stuff.
But if you go to Google and type this shit, you get none of this stuff.
yeah, well, that doesn't
Damn,
surprise me at
dude.
all.
Censorship, guys.
Censorship.
It's very fucking real.
No, I mean this. I watched the Project Veritas shit, and Google is definitely up to some fuckery. But I'm not about to buy a slickly produced, out of context, conversational fucking documentary.
Ominous music playing over the whole thing.
Yeah, like
It is more corroborating
dread-inducing,
evidence.
ominous piano, tinkling piano over the whole thing, and like a totally anonymous Google employee providing narration to the out-of-context
no.
clips. No thanks. Like, there's some wild shit said by Google employees and some stuff that deserves discussion.
Scrutiny,
but
yeah.
I'd rather just see the conversations in
Right.
total.
I just would like. I mean, it just. I've been suckered in before by here's this video that we show this, but then it turns out that it's been edited to look like something
Right.
it's not.
Well, it's,
So I mean, like when you put out a video like that, I think you need to show us like also here's
Here's the full context.
full context of like whatever amount of video we have. If there's 20 hours, if there's 30 hours,
You can be
whatever, we
very
should be able to
easily
see the
deceived.
whole fucking thing.
Well, this is, I mean, and this company, Project Veritas or whatever, this is what it's their MO.
Right.
Like they get these interviews and they pluck two little things out of the interview, wrap it all in dreadful music and shit, and put a big heavy tone over it and act like it's an expose. You know, there's some, like I said, some of the statements made stand on their own. I think is scary.
Yeah, I mean, like
in terms of how Google
it's pretty
feels
hard
like
to-
it's responsible for controlling a political narrative in this country.
Yeah, that was pretty fucking bizarre when that woman was like, we need to. She was talking about Elizabeth Warren. She's like, Elizabeth Warren wants to break up Google, and that's a bad idea because we need to be whole to prevent another Donald Trump situation. It's like, whoa.
Yeah.
That is not your fucking purview, Google. That's for the American fucking voters or whatever to decide.
You're seeing a slickly edited piece of content,
Right.
and I mean the thing is like without the full context of the conversation, And to conflate the
I don't know what context could vindicate that particular line.
To conflate the opinions of an employee of a company with the actual policies of the company.
That's also fair.
They show some internal documents too. One of them discovering or discussing their fairness-based AI. Mm-hmm. And one of the things that they discuss in that document is the fact that, if you search for CEOs, predominantly when it comes to America, CEOs are male. Mm-hmm. But Google, even though that's the truth, it doesn't fit the fairness doctrine. So when you search CEO on Google, you're going to get a mix of male and female CEOs, even though males are vastly overrepresented.
Right.
So it doesn't fit the fairness quotient of the AI. So your research results are skewed based on what they feel is fair.
I mean, if there's more corroborated
doesn't that
ultimately
harm women?
Well, because of false impression.
Because it just, if you want to make the case like there's not enough women CEOs, well, you type it in Google CEOs, a bunch of women pop up. There's no problem. It's fine.
Well, the crux of that idea is that should there be more? And
and
people can argue yes and no, but the thing is that it shouldn't be more based on how good of a job you're going to do. Just having someone as a CEO, whether male or female, it shouldn't be based entirely on their, what their gender is. It's the performance with the company.
Sure,
if a woman can run a company just as effectively as a man, which they definitely can, in some cases they do, I see no problem with it either way. But just to be for that to be the focus, just seems misguided.
Should there be more? In my opinion, yeah. Is it Google's job to make that happen? No. They're a search engine.
What I was saying is that I feel like what they're doing in that instance, at least, is making it a little harder for women because it makes it seem like there is no problem. You see, this is the problem with trying to craft your own reality as a search engine. Because, you can craft... All you're really creating is a false impression of what reality is. Google should reflect the results in an unbiased way. And this is the reason why, I don't even use the Google search engine very much anymore. I sometimes use it because it's default on so many browsers.
I use DuckDuckGo.
Yeah, if I'm actually searching for something, I'm pretty much using DuckDuckGo at this point.
I mean, another problem is things let's say the wage gap, for example. Like if you talk to a lot of people, it's just a fact. But then if you examine the facts behind how they give you that fact, then you see, well, maybe it's not necessarily true, or maybe it's true to a point. But then if you have to take other factors into account, so it's like the way the information is presented also can be deceiving. So you could say there's not that many female CEOs, but then if you look at the industries we're talking about, let's say there was one dominated by men. Is it likely there's going to be a female CEO? Maybe, maybe not. So I think there's just a lot. It's more nuanced than that, and people want to just reduce it down to there's just not enough. But we have to examine the reasons why there's not quote unquote enough.
Well, I mean, whatever the solution to that problem is, I don't want Google dipping its dirty ass fucking pointer finger off into it.
Absolutely.
Just give me the truth. It's your job when I search something to find relevant articles to that, no matter what it says about reality or no matter what you might think it says about reality.
Google's stated goal
is show me the fucking information or you get out of the way and let another company do it.
Just quit editorializing reality.
Yeah, it's supposed to catalog the information to make it available to you for you to find, so you can have the knowledge. You can say, well, so like Paul, let's say you're saying, I don't think there's enough female CEOs, so let me go find some research on that. That's what it's supposed to give you that for.
Well, underlying all of this is the presumption of stupidity in the populace. They think that we need an intermediary to filter the truth for us and then feed us the bits of it that are relevant to us. Fuck that. You know what? They might be right. Most of us might be stupid. But you know what? One of the reasons people are stupid is because they're treated their whole lives like they're stupid.
Yeah.
100% of the time. Thanks, TJ, for that rant-destroying fucking search bar mistake or whatever the fuck it was.
I'm just going to do that to Paul from now on. Paul started going to roll.
Yeah.
Okay, go ahead, Paul.
Make sure next time TJ's on a good one, I just start making fart noises into the mic or something, or play a Nancy Grace clip through my fucking phone.
It's not my fault that these goddamn
Paul, don't you have that fart button?
Articles want to have fucking videos that autoplay on them.
Don't you carry around the fart button in your backpack?
I've got a naughty button.
Oh, start doing that naughty.
Yeah.
Naughty. And TJ's like, well, shut up.
Fucking TJ. Damn autoplay.
You understand my pain now.
Bullshit. I don't even know what we were talking about. Who cares? Project Veritas bullshit.
Trump threatens obliteration after Iran suggests he has a mental disorder.
Promise you, they'll be destroyed.
Thus proving them wrong, of course.
Yeah.
The Iranian and U.S. presidents have traded insults, with Hassan Rouhani suggesting that Donald Trump suffered from a mental disorder, and Trump once more threatening Iran with obliteration. The very personal exchange was reminiscent of similar verbal clashes between the U.S. and North Korean leaders in late 2017, and underlined the volatility of U.S. foreign policymaking in the present standoff in the Gulf. Trump has swung between dire threats and offers of talks without preconditions while ramping up sanctions.
Like a crazy person would.
The crazy mixed signals of Donald Trump. The worsening confrontation became significantly more personal this week when the U.S. imposed sanctions on Iran's Supreme Leader Ali Khamenei and 8 military commanders and threatened measures against the foreign minister Javad Zarif. On Tuesday, Rouhani responded by describing the U.S. president as afflicted by a mental disorder and said the sanctions against Khamenei were outrageous and idiotic, especially as its 80-year-old cleric has no overseas assets and no plans to ever travel to the U.S. The insult was an echo of Kim Jong-un's broadside against the U.S. president in September 2017 when he called Trump a mentally deranged U.S. dotard. The slanging match between Trump and Kim ultimately gave way to summitry and claims of mutual affection, with Trump even claiming they fell in love. Gross. The path to a diplomatic breakthrough with Iran, however, looks far more complicated.
What do you mean gross? That's beautiful, TJ.
It is
What the
beautiful. I'm sorry.
world needs now.
As it has frequently in the past, the reference to Trump's mental faculties triggered an emotional response and a flurry of tweets. Iran leadership doesn't understand the words nice or compassion. They never have. Sadly, the thing they do understand is strength and power. And the USA is by far the most powerful military force in the world, with $1.5 trillion invested over the last 2 years alone, he wrote. The U.S. has not forgotten Iran's use of IEDs and EFPs, bombs, in parentheses.
Yeah.
Bombs.
Just wanted to make sure his followers could keep going
What
with
the
the
hell
conversation.
that?
Which killed 2,000 Americans and wounded many more. And any attack by Iran on anything American will be met with great and overwhelming force. In some areas, overwhelming will mean obliteration.
Wow, dude.
Wow.
Trump's estimate of U.S. fatalities is much higher than the Pentagon estimate of 600.
2,000.
Once again, this could have all been avoided if we'd have fucking followed Paul Zigo's Grandpa Trump principle.
Tell us how we could have avoided
If
it.
this motherfucker was on a summit somewhere on the island of Fiji getting a lei put over his head and getting a nice fucking hamburger for dinner or some shit with a bunch of hula dancers and a cultural show or whatever the fuck, this would not be happening. This is happening right now because Donald Trump is being allowed to get bored. He's a grandpa. He's got nothing to do with his time. He's watching Fox News all day, sitting in his dark, dingy fucking bedroom, watching the fucking news, and he's ramping up all this rhetoric and shit. Like I said, dude, send this motherfucker to some island nation that would love to see a U.S. president.
Mr. President, you might not be aware of this, but Fiji is known for having the best chocolate cake in the world.
Oh, we must do a state visit then. Pause this war with Iran. You know what I mean? Like, we got to start doing the Grandpa Trump principle or we're doomed.
And like I said, give him his own Twitter feed. Twitter can probably make that happen. And it's just
Yeah.
be like, Trump #1. Yeah.
Yeah, give him his own little fucking
Give him his bubble.
reality-free zone where everybody loves him and send him on state visits until he's done.
Yeah, we'll have like even liberals like, I was wrong about Trump and shit. So Trump will be all happy. And then,
Feed him as much bad food as possible to accelerate the inevitable and just keep him traveling. Keep him going to these fucking, events, cutting ribbons, hanging medals on people.
oh, you know what? The media
Passing off trophies to kids.
The media has to stop writing stories about Trump playing golf too much. It should be like, Trump doesn't play golf
Oh,
enough.
they should just cover raptly his wonderful golf game and take at face value whatever numbers he gives him,
Yeah.
just like you would your grandpa. Your grandpa shows up and goes, I shot a 72 under par. You go like, good,
Wow.
good going, Gramps.
Donald Trump, best golfer in world.
If we just did
New
this,
York Times front page.
we could avert this fucking tragedy. Because I'm telling you, man, if he had a big mouthful of chocolate cake right now and a hula show going on in front of him, he wouldn't even give a fuck
Why would he care?
what Iran said or that it shot down a drone. He wouldn't care. He'd have a mouthful of delicious, the most decadent chocolate
I
cake.
wouldn't care, dude. If I was on a hula show and I had some chocolate cake, I'd be happy. I mean,
Yeah, what do you want me to do, huh?
Grandpa Trump could be happy. Look, America needs to make Trump happy, and then America will be happy.
Yeah.
I just wonder if there's going to come a day where one of these foreign leaders says something that's too far for Trump to just unleash a tweet storm, and he's just like, "No come, no come."
Well, I'm sure it's already happened. I'm sure cooler heads have prevailed at least twice in
like
the
some
few
foreign
years
leaders
he's
to
been
be
president.
like, Donald Trump is an absolute fucking retard
we can't-
piece of shit.
Sorry,
Go
Mr.
to
President,
war.
we can't open the briefcase.
Go to war.
Drop the nukes.
Give me the codes.
Destroy him. Obliterate him. I love how big Trump's vocabulary gets when it comes to words of destruction, you know?
Yeah.
Then it's all obliterate,
Yep.
decimate,
What's another word for destruction?
annihilate.
Oh, obliterate.
We will rain fire down upon you.
Yeah, he gets real fucking poetic when it
Yeah,
comes
that's when he
to
starts to get.
threatening violence.
That's when his fucking vocabulary goes up from a fucking second grade reading level to at least a fourth.
They may not be right about much, but Iran's leadership is right about this. We are suffering under the leadership of our president with a mental disorder, and we do need to treat him as such. So,
Yeah, dude, dementia's a serious fucking illness.
Grandpa
Yep.
Trump,
It
Grandpa
is.
Trump.
Grandpa Trump.
So, Secret Service takes Chicago restaurant employee into custody after she spits on Eric Trump.
Damn,
I mean,
that's rude.
I think that this is all just a misunderstanding. She probably just mistook his face for a spittoon because
It looks like a
it
big.
clearly looks like that's what it's
Oh,
for.
she had some chew going on. Oh,
chewing
look,
some
looky
chow.
there. Let me spit in that thing.
U.S. Secret Service took an employee of a Chicago restaurant into custody Tuesday evening after she spit on President Donald Trump's son, Eric Trump.
And maybe he's into it. We don't know.
It was purely a disgusting act by somebody who clearly has emotional problems, Eric Trump told Breitbart News when reached. Man, when Breitbart News calls you and you actually answer and make a comment, man.
Yeah, it's me.
Yeah.
When reached by phone late Tuesday evening, for a party that preaches tolerance, this once again demonstrates they have very little civility. When somebody is sick enough to resort to spitting on someone, it just emphasizes a sickness and a desperation and a fact that we're winning. Everything bad that happens to them, they just take as a
We won.
vindication of like, we won again.
Yep.
We win again.
I got a looch spit in my face.
Now-
What a win.
I won.
Now
Another
look.
Bingo.
victory in the war of ideas.
I'll say this: if Trump is reelected and shit, and things go well for them in 2020, then if they want to have this winning narrative, then hey, go right ahead. But until that happens, I think it's a little premature to talk about how much they've won. Trump won 2016, but 2020, I don't know.
I mean, the left
Hasn't been decided yet.
The left has been, ramping up the uncivil responses to people who disagree with them.
Oh, sure.
Game
100%.
recently.
No denying that.
And I'm not standing in fucking defense of that. I don't think anybody should be spit on because of their political positions, no matter how reprehensible they might be.
Well, and you know what? I think it's a very dangerous game to play because we just saw it happen in Oregon. Like the people the 3%ers, what they're called, these militia people, like they ain't playing around. These people like when the Proud Boys came out and they went against Antifa got their asses kicked. When they fucked and when these Republicans ran to these militia guys, guess what? They were like, "There's nothing we can do. The bill is dead." So if people want to play this game with these crazy conservatives, I think they're gonna fucking find out that it's not a fucking fun game.
Well, what do you think all the gun hoarding has been about?
I know, that's what I'm
Like,
saying.
what do you think
I'm
it's
telling
about?
you.
It's a fallback. Hey, I got this. You can't fucking encroach anymore.
Yeah,
So
because all these guys have fucking tons and tons of weapons. It's
Tons
just-
of guns.
I mean, it ain't no joke, man. And I'm not saying that makes it right. Oh, might makes right, but at the end of the day, I guess it kind of does, doesn't
Oh,
it?
it does, for sure. Hearing, this is Mary Ann Ahern. I guess she works at NBC. Hearing of an incident at Avery tonight, an employee allegedly spit on son of real Donald Trump, who is visiting Chicago, offender now in the U.S. Secret Service custody. She said Eric Trump was seen leaving Aviary, which is an upscale Chicago cocktail lounge. Ahern also tweeted a photo of Chicago Police Department officials assisting the U.S. Secret Service in response.
I mean, but to blame, just say it's the Democratic Party or liberals.
Do we really
or-
need this
it's-
much law enforcement for a
it's-
spitting incident? I
It's
don't
one
know.
person. Look, what she did was bullshit.
One
and she was
person armed
arrested.
with spit.
Yeah,
you
and
know?
she got arrested for it. So that's it.
Well, these fucking conservative folks don't like to be blamed whenever some yahoo accidentally shoots his kid in the head or something. They don't like to have the entire, their entire wing of the political process thrown under the bus.
Yeah, all gun owners are evil. But now it's
So,
all
some dumb chick hawks a looch on somebody in Chicago, and somehow that's an indictment of the entire fucking Democratic Party.
yeah.
Yeah, well, of
Just
course.
shows you the poisonousness of the fucking two-party system and shit. Just allows you to separate people into two easy little groups and point your finger at all of them whenever something bad happens.
So according to sources familiar with the matter, Eric Trump had, with a group of people, come into Aviary, an upscale lounge in Chicago, and the young woman, an employee of the establishment, came right up to him and spit in his face. Per an eyewitness, she murmured inaudibly something that sounded like it was anti-Trump. Well, obviously. Then Secret Service agents who were there protecting Eric Trump jumped into action. Did they not jump into action while this woman was like coming towards him? I mean, I guess she was working there, so they probably didn't think that would happen. But still,
I just hate this. This is another downside to electing a fucking 70-year-old president because they got adult children. So now each one of his stupid, ugly children that look like him get their own fucking detail at our expense of Secret Service dorks that follow them everywhere.
Well, I guess
make sure no one spits.
they also said at the end of the article, at the very end, he did not press charges against her.
They all got fucking kids. I mean, it's just absurd the amount of money keeping the Trump family like in power costs.
Oh yeah.
Just like, fuck, man. Just think of how many Secret Service people alone it takes just to cover his immediate family. Just his sons and daughters and their grandchildren and all of that shit. Fuck me.
Paul, that's why the Republic is dead, dude.
Can we get ourselves a fucking 36-year-old president or something that doesn't have like grown kids and that have kids yet? We stop with the grandpa electing.
I think we need to just make it a
dude, that's
law
just
that
gonna
the
get worse and
president's
worse,
not
dude.
allowed to have any family.
We're gonna have the American Empire soon, and we have the Empire, Paul. There's gonna be the Secret Service is gonna have to probably triple in size at least.
I mean, we're gonna have it.
We're gonna have
it's
it,
already
dude.
here.
We're gonna have it, Paul. Well, no, I mean officially, like when the Constitution is like made null and void,
Right.
and then we have to all hail Emperor Trump, hail Emperor Trump.
Guys, got some sad news for you.
Oh.
What's going on, TJ?
Beth Chapman, Dog the Bounty Hunter star, has died.
Oh no.
Episode over, guys.
No. What? This is a joke, TJ. This is not funny.
Pull up the real site, TJ.
This is not funny, TJ. This is not funny.
It's not real.
Not Beth.
Why?
Not Beth.
Why, DJ? DJ,
Why do they always take the real ones?
Oh, don't worry, Paul. It's CNN. It's fake news.
Why do they always take the real ones?
TJ, is there another news source that can corroborate this, man? Because it's CNN.
There's lots of them, Scotty.
Nah, man, I want to see another one.
I thought, just like you guys, I was like, this can't be true.
I
CNN.
won't believe it until I see Beth
This can't be
Chapman's
real.
corpse. You bring me Beth Chapman's corpse, and I'll give you $50,000
front
right now.
doorstep.
This is a false flag. Beth Chapman is not gone.
Gone, Paul.
She can't be gone.
Gone, but not forgotten.
Oh. Okay.
All right, so Beth Chapman, who with her husband Dwayne Dog Chapman, starred in the popular reality series Dog the Bounty
I watched
Hunter.
a few episodes of that show.
Yeah, I've seen a couple. Died Wednesday in Honolulu Hospital. A spokesperson for the family confirmed to CNN. She was 51. So basically, what happened was she got cancer. I don't know what kind of cancer she had. She had huge tits, so it was probably breast cancer.
I think it was throat cancer.
Was it? Okay, so she got throat cancer or breast cancer. Who knows what kind? She got cancer. And they put her in a medically induced coma, and she never came out of it. She died. Her news of her passing was shared in social media. 5:23 in Hawaii. This is the time she would wake up to go hike Cocoa Head Mountain. I don't believe that bitch was hiking nothing, so whatever.
I mean, maybe she was, TJ. You don't know.
Don't judge, TJ. Don't judge.
I'm not judging. I'm just fucking
She caught
using...
criminals for a living, man. She was spry.
Did she? Yeah. I guess she was. Only today, she hiked the stairway to heaven. Okay. We all love you, Beth. See you on the other side. All right. Well, you know,
I feel
rock
bad
on.
for Dog. I know he loved his. I know he loved his
Dog
wife.
the bounty hunter.
I don't feel bad for Dog.
They have
Why
fucking-
not?
Because I thought because he's a prick.
Dude,
He was a prick. Yeah, he said some off-color shit.
I don't know. I don't
Lost
care.
his show.
No, I don't care about that. I don't give a shit about that. I care
He's
about
a prick.
he's a fucking bounty hunter for a living.
Dude,
He can go fuck
Dude,
himself.
Dog fucking was busy in the bedroom. The couple raised 12 children together and split their time between homes in Hawaii and Colorado. So
Yeah.
He is a legally licensed agent of the court, TJ.
Sure. Rock on.
To bring people to justice, to account for crimes that they committed against the state or the people, TJ.
Yeah. Great. Wonderful.
You need people like Dog out there. If there weren't people like Dog out there, you'd be just overrun with criminality.
There'd just be criminals
Yes.
everywhere, all over the place.
You'd step out your door in the middle of the night to go to the Waffle House to get a fucking All-Star, and there'd be somebody there with a fucking butterfly knife just waiting to gut you and take your wallet, TJ.
Pay the
And this is
toll.
how you repay people like fucking Dwayne Dog Chapman and his beautiful wife, Beth, who walked the stairway to heaven today.
And
You
she's
ungrateful
walking
monster.
the
Yeah, I guess I'm
stairway.
just a piece of shit. I don't know.
They're part of the thin blue line, TJ. The thin blue line that keeps you from
Keeps me
anarchy.
safe. Yeah.
Yes. Yes, TJ. Yes.
Well, speaking of the thin blue line protecting us from anarchy, it looks like Mueller's not quite done, this Mueller saga. I thought it was over, but apparently it's not.
He begged, basically, in that fucking press conference he did. He was like, I really would like to not testify and just have this statement count as my testimony, but the Democrats ain't having it. They're like,
fuck that.
you're coming in here because we're going to get you to say Trump is a Russian agent. Like, that's it. You're not leaving until you say that Trump is a Russian.
He's not going to say that.
And then you can go. Hey, after 10 or 12 days, a straight fucking 8 hours a day of testimony under the hot lamps, you don't know what this motherfucker's going to say.
I bet you ain't
He
gonna
might
say
look
that.
right at fucking Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez and be like, he's a fucking,
Yeah.
he literally sucked Putin's dick, and there's a tape of it.
Meanwhile, in Paul's fantasy world,
I know.
like, I mean, I would love it. Don't get me wrong, dude. I would fucking love that
Sweat
shit.
this motherfucker out and get him to admit it.
Yeah, like, we actually have intelligence that when Donald Trump and Vladimir Putin were in the same room together alone, of course, we had cameras there spying on them both. Putin pulled out
No,
his cock and was
it-
like, time to suck, Donald.
It's an absurdity, but that's exactly what the Dems want. They
Donald-
want to get him in there and have him say something that could be interpreted as, well, maybe he is with, Russian and shit.
Fuck that, Donald. You must
He definitely
pay.
did obstruct justice, and you should throw him in jail. Okay, we're done. You can go home now, Mueller.
Yeah, Mueller should just sit down and be like, all right, so Trump's a Russian agent, and he should go to jail.
It's just like his opinion
He
on the
obstructed
matter
justice.
has been made known. He's released that whole fucking report on everything he thinks about what he investigated on Trump. I just don't really see, other than pageantry, what the point of dragging this dude before the fucking thing is.
Well, it's pure pageantry.
Right.
Because,
So,
he's already, like you said, he's already made his thoughts known.
There's
I
a
mean,
400-plus page report.
in detailed, in a detailed manner, he's already spoken on it and clarified his position on that report. What else? Like, he's just gonna say the same shit over here.
Yeah, exactly.
It's a waste of time.
But he has agreed to testify before Congress on July 17th. And, of course, what's going to be an open session. Americans have demanded to hear directly from the special counsel so they can understand what he and his team examined and uncovered. And basically, like, this is like what they're saying here is like Americans are too lazy to actually read this report, and they'd rather just be told what it contains
Right.
by the guy who wrote it. So,
Oh, he's going before Congress, not the House. I thought he was going before the House.
Russia, blah, 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 blah. The committee issued subpoenas Tuesday to compel Mueller's testimony. According to the joint statement, the decision to compel Mueller to testify is a landmark move that will put an end to a months-long saga on Capitol Hill where lawmakers have for weeks fought to get access to information about whether President Trump obstructed justice. Part of the congressional efforts, which took place over the last several months, have consisted of suing for documents related to the president and subpoenaing former Trump officials to testify about their time working with the president. But the White House has put forward a strategy of stonewalling Congress at every move.
This is the deal. The Democrats were hoping for Watergate, and they didn't get it. And now it's like, now we just have to keep the pageantry going. Look, the most that they can hope for is maybe they'll impeach Trump in the House, but then he will, if they try him in the Senate, he'll be acquitted. And that's all that's going to happen. Like, if they think it's going to ruin his political career, I really doubt if that's what's going to be. It's not going to sink Trump. If anything, everyone that fucking is a Trump supporter is going to be invigorated. Like, they're trying to take the president out. They can't beat the president, so now they got to do this.
We're winning again!
It's just that the Democrats need to get over this fucking shit. They need to focus on beating Trump in 2020. That's what they need to fucking do. This fucking goddamn shit is just a fucking bomb of like, Trump won. Oh my god.
I don't know, dude.
And I mean, there's no look. If you read about the Watergate case, which I urge everyone to do, and how that unfolded, this is not how this is unfolded. It's not a fucking an analog for how this is going to go. I'm sorry, it's not. I think it's be more like Bill Clinton. Maybe they get him in the House, but they're not going to get him in the fucking Senate. It's not going to happen. The Republicans are not just going to go, yeah, we'd rather have somebody else now. It's a living in a fantasy.
I don't know. We'll see. You never do know, Scotty. You never do know. There's some parallels between this and Watergate. I mean, the central obstruction question is a huge parallel. The investigation and all of that.
Yeah, but look, they had the FBI. People came to the difference with Watergate is people came to the FBI. They had sources inside the White House leaking that stuff. Like the Deep Throat guy, Mark Felt. There was a lot of things that didn't happen in this case. I mean, the White House had a slush fund set up specifically to pay people off in the White House. I mean, so in the accountants that came forward and actually admitted that, like, Trump was more like, do this, and people under him were like, no, that's illegal. We're not doing it. I mean, look, did Trump obstruct justice? I don't know. That's for fucking just legal scholars and people like that to determine. But I just don't think it's going to happen the way that people in the Democratic Party and liberals want to happen, which is Trump is removed from office. If that's the ultimate goal, it's very, very unlikely that's how it's going to happen based on the evidence that we have.
U.S. government blocks League of Legends in Syria and Iran amid escalating tensions.
You can't play League of Legends. Wow, what a fucking...
Iran and Syria, you're grounded.
We're taking
no League of
League.
Legends for you, mister.
And we're taking League from you.
What the fuck, dude? Why?
I don't know. As tensions between the U.S. and Iran begin to boil over, the conflict had an unexpected side effect. League of Legends, one of the most popular video games in the world, can't be accessed in Iran and Syria due to U.S. laws and regulations. So, wow. The U.S. government literally went out of its way to be like, no League of Legends for you.
You know what? If we're going to be doing this, can we find a reason to deny access to South America while we're at it? Because Dota 2 has been ruined by Brazilians and fucking Peruvians to the point where it's unplayable. So, yeah.
I'm fine with that.
I'm fine. Let's start slinging this around the world. Because Russians, too. If you get a game with a Russian dude in it,
Oh, yeah, dude.
it's over for you.
Annoying people in games, like, I'm not fine with doing the sanction shit. Everyone should be able to play fucking games, whatever. Dude, but I think you're right, dude. Some annoying Brazilians come in there, just ban their ass. Like, you know what? No more Brazilians on these servers. They're done.
Yep. Give them their own fucking servers to fuck around on and, let us play the goddamn game over here. Yeah.
So I'm not a gamer, so can you explain to me the issue with these Brazilians?
They just I don't know,
They're idiots,
man.
dude.
I don't know what to tell you about it. They somehow managed to figure out how to start the game up, but not actually play it.
Okay.
You know what I mean? In these types of games, League and Dota, they're dependent on team play. Like if your team is sucking, you're fucked, and it's a 20-minute fucking too. It's not like it can be over right away.
Yeah, you're just getting fucked.
It's just like
for
if you
20
got
solid minutes.
a couple
like-
members on your team that are just jerking off, you're done. And if you leave, you get punished. So you got to sit there and watch yourself get butt fucked for 20 minutes because there's a Peruvian in your game. You know what I mean?
So here's the thing, TJ. It's like a good thing to make you understand. It's like, Chinese tourists have the reputation for being horrible.
Right.
That's basically online, like Brazilians and like Russians and shit for a long time. I mean, Brazilians are kind of newer, but Russians for a long time are in the gaming world, like they're horrible to play with. Like if you go on, it's just like a random, like you have random players in your team. Paul's right. It's like, let's say you're playing like, what was the one you used to play a lot? It's like a Blizzard one.
Oh yeah, the Heroes of the Storm.
Yeah, Heroes of the Storm. I could watch
same type
Paul
of
play
game.
it, and Paul would be like, "Okay, we need to go to the center here." He'd be on voice chat, and they'd be like, there'd be two guys just running around like corners of the map doing nothing or fighting like bullshit spawns.
It's just a really frustrating game, even if everybody's playing to win. And when you get, just some foreigner
You're
that
fucked.
got a free laptop at school, probably donated by some U.S. fucking company to send prosperity down there, and they're using them to play Dota on our servers. Horrible. They lag to shit because, of course, they're fucking 2,500 miles away from the nearest fucking relay point. It just sucks. So I'm all for this. Fuck that. U.S. video games for U.S. players. Keep these, give them their own farms. Send one over there. Get an Iranian server set up.
Damn,
Because I
you
got to
know
tell
what?
you, I don't want no Iranian on my fucking game either. I ain't never heard of an Iranian that can kick ass at one of these games.
You know what, TJ? I think we found a position that Paul is not a globalist on.
Yeah. I'm an isolationist when it comes to video games.
Yeah, it's like we found your if you know what, remember, Paul, someone said you're a globalist, but like, you know what, not when it comes to video games.
Because it's just like this. Okay, so let's say that there's a dude, and he's from Peru, right?
Uh-huh.
And I'm trying to help. I'm trying to be positive in the game, right? I don't want to be mean to him. So instead of going, fuck you, you're retarded, quit the game and uninstall it, I go, hey, next time that this happens, you should move to the center with the rest of us, and we can win. And you know what I get back? ¿Cuántos hablando, Stefando? You can't even talk to him. You can't even talk to him. So it's like the whole game is about communicating with your team, sticking together. I'm fucking... There's no reason they should be playing on our servers, man. You can't communicate with them. You can't even be like, hey, we go here. They go,
Paul,
huh?
hey, Paul, I've got a solution. How about a language-based one? So we have language-based servers and
Yes.
also IQ test-based servers.
So when you install the game, and you're doing your setup before you play,
Yes.
you take a language test.
Yeah.
You pick your server, and then it's like, all right, you want to play
And
on
then
the
you pick a secondary
You want to
test.
play on the American servers. Here's your English test.
Number 2.
You know, blah 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 blah.
Then your IQ test. So like the
see,
retards.
that needs to be
So
done
all
too.
the spazzy like little 13-year-old retards from America that we can't get rid of, they'll all be on the same servers just killing each other. So that just takes care of itself.
Yes. Yeah, I'm for it. I'm for it. Holy shit.
What the hell happened to her?
She's got the fucking T virus.
Yeah. Right. No, actually, New Jersey mom beaten unconscious by school bully who threatened her son in hate crime, lawyer says.
Wonderful.
This is a Passaic County woman was attacked and knocked unconscious after complaining to a school vice principal about 3 students who threatened her son and told him to go back to Mexico, the woman's attorney said Tuesday. Veronica Ruiz, 35, of Passaic, was attacked on June 19th at Lexington Avenue and Monroe Street as she pushed a stroller with her 1-year-old baby inside and her 12-year-old son walking with her, according to her attorney, Daniel Santiago of Clifton. This was a horrific and brutal attack, Santiago told New Jersey Advance Media. It takes a certain level of insanity to brutally attack a mother with a stroller and leave her for dead.
Yeah, it really does.
The woman was hospitalized for 2 days after a 13-year-old student, one of 3 who had been taunting her son, essentially jumped my client, Santiago said. She suffered a fractured eye socket, bruises, and a bloodied eye that remained red for days. The day before the attack, Ruiz's son endured taunts in the cafeteria of Passaic Gifted and Talented Academy School, number 20, according to the attorney. They were chanting, "Mexicans should go back behind the wall," Santiago said, when the boy countered, "We all come from immigrants. The bullies threaten violence," Santiago said.
So I made a point, and then they're just like, "We'll beat the shit out of you."
When the boy reported the incident to school officials, they sequestered him for the remainder of the day, either in the office or the classroom, Santiago
I
said.
guess with what happened to their mom, I guess they're just actually looking out for him because I guess they were going to beat the shit out of him.
Nobody called the child's parents, he said. When the boys went home that afternoon, he told his mother about the threats and said he was afraid to go back to school. The mother then went to the school and complained to a vice principal and demanded to know why the school officials had not informed her about the threats of violence. The vice principal admitted to the mother that he should have called them, but he had become busy with other matters, Santiago said.
Oh, what?
That's a woefully inadequate response, Santiago
Yes,
said.
it is.
My bad is not a good excuse for not calling the parents, not telling them, obviously. To make matters worse, school officials did not immediately discipline the attacker. Instead, they told the mother of the attacker had just as much right to an education as her son.
Yeah, but he
Santiago
doesn't have a
said.
right to make threats to other people.
Yeah,
and
that's
threaten them
not-
with violence. He has a right to threaten people with violence, so I have a right to threaten him with violence for
Yeah.
doing this fucking heinous attack.
Violence-prone kids get educations too. They just don't get to fucking go to the same school as everybody else.
So this is Laura. Who's Laura? Mayor. Oh, this is Passaic Mayor Hector.
Passaic, TJ. Come
Whatever.
on. Passaic.
Fucking
Passaic.
say
Not
it.
Passaic. What the I comes before the A. So how are you getting Passaic?
Yeah, you're right.
Passaic.
Passaic Mayor Hector Laura told the teen bully was suspended, blah, blah, blah. He said this. As both a father and a husband, I am outraged over this incident. As mayor, these are things you wish would never occur in your city or anywhere. This incident is being taken extremely seriously. I've met with and spoken personally with the family. I have met with my chief of police, local officials, and school administration, as well as board members, to make sure there is accountability and that this family receives justice, as well as any help and resources we can provide. The details regarding what led up to this incident remained under investigation. However, one thing is very clear. What occurred to this mother is unacceptable, and whatever we need to do as a city, as a community, to do better by our families and children, we will do. So basically just your typical
I
politician
don't know, dude. I think this could
statement.
be handled much easier and with way less bureaucracy and bullshit. All right, so this kid is bullying the kid at school, right?
And he
Yes.
Beats that kid up and bullies him, and then he goes beats up the kid's mom. So I don't know if the dad's in the picture, but they need to find a dad or an uncle, you know what I mean, that's willing to stand next in the combat. And if this kid can beat up, the next comer, and there's nobody else in the family that wants to challenge it, I feel he's earned his right to bully this child.
Edgy Paul.
By the way,
Edgiest of all.
that was a joke.
No, it wasn't.
That was a joke. So please,
Look,
spare me the fucking Reddit thread, okay?
I've got a solution.
Can you believe what Paul did?
Paul
wants a child to be a
out
soldier.
of one side of his mouth, he's mad at Ben Shapiro for wanting to abuse children, but then he just says it's okay for a kid to be bullied. What about the Santa incident? Oh, man, just spare.
You're a fucking hypocrite, Paul!
It's a joke.
You're a hypocritical pile of shit, Paul's ego.
How does it feel to be such a hypocrite, Paul?
It feels pretty good, actually.
Yeah, it does, doesn't it?
It lets me take any position I want at any time, and
That's
not really
what I
think about it.
said.
Yeah.
Look, I agree with you guys. Look, this family, obviously, they're not tough people. Let them fucking hire, like, a fucking MMA fighter to go with this kid for 3
Fair
minutes.
enough. Yeah,
There's rules. You can't kill him, shit like that.
yeah,
I mean,
like
look,
a champion.
Let's be serious though. In IRL, no, all joking aside, I know it's gonna sound like a joke, but like seriously, like wouldn't it make sense to just have someone go beat this kid's fucking ass in?
Yes.
Yeah.
Like some dude just goes and tunes this fucking kid up.
Yeah, not to kill him or anything
No, not
bad.
just fuck him up. Just be like, this is what happens.
This is the fucked up thing about it, because yes, there are some people in this world that need to have their asses kicked. Not just kids, not just
I know, but
snot-nosed
I'm
punks.
saying
adults.
this
There are
punk-ass
adults
kid
out there
that fucking attacked this kid's mom and fucking put her in the hospital. That attacked this kid that was doing all this racist shit at his school. Go back to Mexico, but go back behind the wall. All this bullshit.
Yeah.
That dude, that kid sounds like he needs his ass kicked. Someone should
Yeah.
just go fucking tune his ass up.
If that happened in his life and he knew it was because of the way he was treating other people, then yeah, there's a good chance he might clean up. There's a good chance he doesn't.
Let's see if he feels differently when he's fucking staring down at his own teeth in a puddle of blood.
I mean, violence is one of those things that's real satisfying to think about, but
Yeah.
in practicality, like in action, violence it produces wildly disparate outcomes depending on the person that it's perpetrated against. So some people, they do need a tune up. And identifying that person, I think, becomes the problem, because there are some people, if you go and beat their ass, it's just going to harden them,
Right.
and make them more likely to hurt somebody
So
else.
it's just a matter of like whether or not he's like the
Right.
Nietzschean kind of like what doesn't kill me makes me stronger kind of person. or
Right.
if
What's
he's-
the psychology of this bully? Is he just preying upon people weaker than him, and he needs to be the prey one time, or is he just a sadist that is going to continue to inflict pain and misery wherever he goes, no matter what? And that's the problem with your
What do you do with
type
that
of
person?
justice. That type of person, I think, needs to be dealt with more like by the judicial system and shit. Needs to be
Yeah.
put in therapy and
But the
taken
problem-
out of society.
The
and
problem with that
sort of
is
thing.
that you put him out of society and he goes to juvie or whatever,
But
he
and
just-
gets hardened.
Yeah, and it's
that's
just,
a whole different discussion.
You know a big thing about bullies too, and
Yeah.
a lot of times this is true, is people that are bullies are people who were physically abused.
A lot of times, yes.
a lot of
So you
times-
think
not
this
not
kid
one to
is-
one, but yes.
No,
a
not
lot
one
of
to one.
times.
There's definitely
So
bullies.
there's a
that have
strong
good child-
possibility this kid, his dad fucking puts cigarettes
When
out
you're
on
a
his
child,
arm or
your
some
brain is a
fucking
sponge,
shit.
and what he's learning from that father or the mother, whoever, or an aunt or whoever's doing it to him, is that
If
when you
someone
have a
is.
problem with somebody, you beat their fucking ass, and you tell them like, "You little fucking son of a bitch," bam, like, and then the kid learns like the way
course.
you deal with somebody is because that's what they learned.
Right. It's not only just violence either. I mean, if you
Yelling.
find a kid that is bullying other kids and you put a fucking spy camera on his life, you're going to see a pretty fucked up life. Probably.
More than
You're
likely.
going to see parents yelling and screaming, at least, maybe physical violence, threats of violence, neglect,
abuse, all that
emotional
bullshit.
neglect, all that shit. You're going to see all that shit, and they bring it to school and they take it out on other people's children.
So what do you do though?
I mean, when you find a child like that, the answer is for the state to get involved and assess whether the parents can provide a safe fucking household. If you've got a kid that age walking up on a grown woman pushing a stroller and beating her face in, something's
problem.
wrong at home.
Oh yeah, there's no
Something's
way.
very wrong somewhere.
I mean, honestly, and there might be something chemically wrong in his brain, but there's definitely something wrong at home. And at that point, you've got to get other people involved. Rehabilitation is the only other option I can think of. Because when you talk about putting them in a cage, you're right. They're just going to be hardened by it.
Yeah. And we've seen it 1,000 times. It just seems like there's no easy answer. Illinois becomes 11th state to allow recreational marijuana.
Good job.
Illinois, huh?
Illinois' new governor delivered on a top campaign promise Tuesday by signing legislation making the state the 11th to approve marijuana for recreational use in a program offering legal remedies and economic benefits to minorities whose lives critics say were damaged by a wayward war on drugs.
The really good thing about this is that it was done legislatively. It wasn't it wasn't basically a ballot initiative. They finally, states are finally, like I think Vermont also did that by their legislature. So it's good. I mean, look, every state should do this. It's about time.
The dominoes are falling. I mean there are less states in the United States now that have some kind of legal path to marijuana.
Like 23% of U.S. states have legal marijuana. I'm not sure by population what
I think
it is.
it's more than that. I think if you take into account medical, I think now 31 states have some kind of access to marijuana that's federally, banned. So
constitutional amendment, Paul. Marijuana is legal in the U.S.
I mean, it's going to have to happen. I mean, at some point.
Legalization in Illinois also means that nearly 800,000 people with criminal records for purchasing or possessing 30 grams of marijuana or less
That's about an ounce.
may have those records expunged. A provision minority lawmakers and interest groups
Does that mean people that are currently incarcerated as well?
Maybe.
Oh, no.
It also gives cannabis vendor preference to minority owners and promises 25% of tax revenue for marijuana sales to redevelop impoverished communities.
I don't have a problem with all of that, but I don't like that there's no mention of marijuana convictions in the state being expunged.
Yes,
like any state
be.
marijuana conviction should be expunged along with this law. There's no way that somebody should be serving, 10 years in prison for dealing weed in a state where you can walk into a store and buy it.
100% agree with you.
So here's what they're saying. The war on cannabis has destroyed families, filled prisons with nonviolent offenders, disproportionately disrupted black and brown communities, Pritzker said. Law enforcement across the nation has spent billions of dollars to enforce criminalization of cannabis, yet its consumption remains widespread. Yeah,
everywhere.
This should be done with all drugs, in my opinion.
Nice tie choice, by the way, for the day. Yeah. I know that was thoughtful.
America's not maybe quite ready for that discussion yet. Maybe we win the weed thing first, but man, it's none of the government's business what anyone does as far as drugs go. That's your own fucking business.
Yeah, I mean, as long as you're not killing other people in pursuit of them, then...
As long as you're not behind the wheel of a vehicle or something.
When it comes to the very act of you putting a substance in your body to change your brain chemistry and shit, I don't stand in the way of that.
I don't believe in victimless crimes. If you can't show me a victim, then no crime was committed.
Right.
And
you can't victimize yourself.
Yeah, because that's your own body. You can do what you want with it. That's how I feel. I'm very libertarian on that one. I think
the main thing the main problem I see in the U.S. is people honestly with drugs is stealing to get drugs,
right?
And people getting behind the driving drunk, driving fucking high out of their minds,
endangering anybody else because of the drug use.
Yeah, that's where I kind of draw the line. But if you're at your house and you want to drop acid or you want to do a fucking any crazy drug that's legal and you can get your hands on, I mean, what the fuck?
You can point to a victim there and a pattern of dangerous behavior and all that stuff.
See, I stopped short of your position, TJ, at the legalization and sale of these types of drugs. I'm fine with that as long as we're investing a commensurate amount of money into treating drug abuse and treating people that have mental problems that turn to these drugs and stuff, because that isn't a victimless crime. When a mother that has 2 children that she's looking after smokes crack, that becomes they're victims in that crime.
That's true.
Right. So you have to have some mitigating circumstance in place.
Sure.
To protect the rest of us from people who get out of their mind on fucking drugs.
It's a healthcare issue. It's not an issue it shouldn't be an issue for law enforcement.
But I mean, we have no problem figuring out how to parse that.
Well, at the very least, it's like
with
Portugal.
the drugs that are currently legal.
Isn't it like Portugal? They just decriminalize all drugs, and then give people mandatory court and treatment, and have to try to deal with it in that way.
I also don't know. I also feel like drugs like crack are going to kind of fade into obscurity if all drugs are legal. I feel like people are going to find better alternatives to that drug if they can go buy it at a fucking legal venue.
I mean, let me put it this way: alcohol has been legal with one hiccup in our past in this country since its inception.
Right.
True.
And we still, to this day, are woefully underfunded and under-facilitated to deal with people who have alcohol problems.
Right.
Yes.
True.
So we haven't even figured out that yet, and it's been legal since God was a boy.
Mm-hmm.
And that's why I always have this eyebrow-raising moment when they're talking about legalizing cocaine or heroin or some of these harder drugs that people will go out and do crimes to pursue.
Right.
But when
it
comes to
those drugs were illegal for some time in the U.S.
When it comes to alcohol, though, I mean, I don't think people aren't usually committing crimes to get alcohol.
No,
they're usually committing crimes because they're on alcohol.
which will happen on heroin and crack and
It already does.
meth, and I mean it happens all the time. All
Well,
of these
heroin's
things.
probably not going to cause too many
Well,
crimes. 'Cause
I
they're
don't
prob-
know.
they're probably just going to be fucking
Well, I
passed
think
out
the
in a
issue.
fucking bathroom
I think the
somewhere.
issue then becomes too. It's not only the drug use, like Paul said. That Paul brings up a good point. It's what do you do on these drugs? So even if the drug itself is legal, you might still commit illegal acts on the drugs,
Or off them.
But I mean,
Or off them. So I counter you with this. What are you going to do on heroin? Okay, so let's say that you got a poor person that can't afford to go to the heroin store and get heroin,
right.
but he's a heroin addict.
Yeah,
What's he going to do?
He's gonna steal.
He's going to go beat somebody over the head and take their fucking wallet and go get heroin.
Right.
You know what I mean? That's not going to change.
But if
that's already happening
But if the
anyway.
market,
Right.
if legitimate manufacturers exist, the price of heroin doesn't need to even cost anywhere near what it
Yeah, I
does.
mean, I'm pretty
the
sure.
black market increases the cost.
Right.
Yeah, I'm pretty
dramatically.
sure that the price of heroin is going to go down pretty significantly.
Well, it's already happened in weed legal states. The cost per ounce of weed, per gram of weed as it's sold,
Right.
is way down in most states.
And for a drug like heroin that's even more restricted than marijuana ever has been, and it doesn't grow naturally. I mean, like the price is going to go way down if you legalize it.
Yeah.
But yeah, obviously, I'm sure there'll be some people that can never afford it. You're right.
I mean, there are still fucking
Sure.
bums and winos out there
Oh,
begging
yeah.
for change because they can't afford to walk in and buy a cheap fucking $5 handle of wine.
Absolutely.
100%.
So you mean like if you can get the price down that low, there's still going to be people begging for it and needing it.
I mean, I'm not saying that there's not going to be any social.
Well, that's also
ills
why
or-
having
I
a
just think
universal
that
healthcare system we'd be better equipped to deal with that problem.
I just think the social ills caused by the drug war are worse than anything that would be caused by legalizing.
Oh, I agree with you there.
So America's plastic recycling is dumped in landfills.
Yeah,
investigation shows.
Pretty much everyone already knew this, but yeah.
Consumers' efforts to be eco-friendly go to waste as many communities find themselves with nowhere to send their refuse.
Yeah, we talked about this on the extra one we did on Saturday.
Yeah. A sign on an upside-down dumpster spelled the end of Pearl Pie's long romance with plastic recycling. For years, Pie and her family generated almost no trash. She carefully washed, sorted, bagged hard-to-recycle items and drove them 2 towns over from her home in Berkeley, California, to the area's best recycling center. But on a gray morning in late May, when she pulled up with a bag of flimsy plastic clamshell-style containers, yogurt tubs, and meat trays, the sign informed her that due to poor market conditions, these items would no longer be acceptable for recycling. This is the reality that millions more Americans will have to adjust to. Well, I don't think there's millions of Americans going through that process.
Yeah, she sounds like very eco-friendly, like trying to do everything she possibly can.
I don't think your average American has adjusted to the idea of recycling at all, period, yet. So
No.
A Guardian investigation reveals that cities around the country are no longer recycling many types of plastic dropped into recycling
Because
bins.
they're simply sending them to other countries.
Instead, they are being landfilled, burned, or stockpiled. From Los Angeles to Florida to the Arizona desert, officials say vast quantities of plastic are now no better than garbage. And that includes these states that make you fucking put it in separate bins and all this shit.
Yeah.
It's just going to the same fucking landfill.
Oh, I've watched in California. They've got the split containers, and I've watched the same garbage truck pull up to my house and dump the trash one, and then dump the fucking recycling one into the same. You know what I mean? I watch it happen. So this has been going on. This whole recycling blanket that some states have thrown over it. This is at the back end of it.
It's just a bunch of
Nowhere to
bullshit.
send the refuse, and we just put it in the landfill anyway. It's just a burden on the consumer at this point.
Yeah. In total, only about half, 56%, of plastic waste that America once exported is still being accepted by foreign markets in the wake of China's ban. So we used to be shipping a lot of this shit overseas.
yes.
But now, I guess China said they don't want it, and ever since then, no one wants it.
It says here, this week, The Guardian revealed that what still goes overseas is inundating countries such as Vietnam, Turkey, Malaysia, and Senegal, but much of it remains with nowhere to go. So basically, some other countries are like, we'll get in on it, but then, like, even then, they're kind of like, we can't take all this shit.
I think the answer to this is to find biodegradable alternatives and just ban
100%.
the use of plastic.
Do you remember
that's
that-
the only way to solve it.
I don't know if you guys remember this, but there was Sun Chips. You guys remember Sun Chips?
Yep.
They actually released a bag that was biodegradable.
And it was so loud and
Yeah.
crinkly, people hated
But
it.
it crinkled too loud, so people were like, fuck this. We hate this bag. And then they stopped.
Right.
So, I mean, like, we're literally talking about, like, hey, this could help the planet. Yeah, but it's too loud.
It's not even just help the planet at this
people-
point. This is like this could possibly save the planet from further degradation.
The problem is,
But it crinkles too
the
loud,
problem is
Paul.
we're asking consumers who are thinking and living in the now to think of the future. Think about 50 years from now. I'll be dead. Who cares? Give me the plastic.
They've made some overtures towards this reduced plastic shit in some of the more liberal states. I know in California, like when we first
Washington.
moved, when we moved down here, or actually when I moved down to Texas, it's when I really first noticed it. Down in the South, dude, everything is wrapped in plastic here. There's literally not a product you can get that comes in a paper bag down here, pretty much. You know what I mean? There's just plastic, styrofoam. And when you've got a significant proportion of your country living in that reality, there's no recycling down here.
None.
There's twice the amount of plastic on the shelves as I see in one of these Western states. It's over. Like, either ban the use of this shit and force these companies under threat of reprisal and law and shit to stop using these products, or just admit that we're going to dump this shit in the ocean till the end of time. There you go. Those are your options. Pick one.
So tonight is the first big Democratic debate. Breakouts, burns, and zingers. What to watch in Dem debates.
I can't wait to get some real zingers.
Oh, boy.
60 seconds for answers, a television audience of millions, and for some candidates, a first chance to introduce themselves to voters. The back-to-back Democratic presidential debates. Beginning Wednesday, are exercises and competitive sound bites featuring 20 candidates hoping to oust President Donald Trump in 2020. The hopefuls range widely in age, sex, and backgrounds, and include a former vice president, 6 women, and a pair of mayors. The challenge: convey their plans for the nation, throw a few elbows, and sharpen what's been a blur of a race so far for many Americans. So what we're going to do here? What's her plan? They're talking about Elizabeth Warren here because obviously she's become kind of
this first night is like basically Elizabeth Warren and question mark
and a bunch of question marks.
So it's a whole roster of people that nobody really knows much about and has heard much about, and Elizabeth Warren. Tomorrow night's debate will be the more spicy one, I think, personally.
Probably, but we never know.
I mean,
you might be surprised.
Oh, no, tomorrow night's the debate night, in my opinion. I mean, look, I'll probably still watch this, but...
Yeah, I'm going to check it out tonight. Watch a little bit of it.
So Senator Elizabeth Warren task is to harness her campaign's momentum to convince voters that she has what it takes to defeat Trump, blah, 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 blah. So they're basically fucking sucking Warren's dick a little bit there. Anyway.
Oh, John Delaney. Go back, TJ. John Delaney, 56, a former member of the House from Maryland.
Look for him to try to make an impression.
He already does. His face is horrible.
Warren's plan.
He makes a crazy impression
So
already.
did you hear what Bernie did, TJ? Elizabeth Warren was like, let's forgive like some student debt. And Bernie's like, no, all of it.
All.
1.6 trillion. In my view, we need to eliminate all college debt.
Breaking out, going viral. No one's going to go viral.
John Delaney goes viral, TJ. But not for what you think. He's going to whip his dick out and be like, John Delaney!
So, yeah, there's a bunch of bullshit here, but, like, we could talk about the debates. We don't need their fucking
Yeah, this
bullshit.
is boring. Let's see what happens.
But they, the thing about it is, so tonight is, once again, Elizabeth Warren versus a bunch of fucking...
Versus
pretty
unknowns.
much no names.
Is Yang tonight?
No, Yang is tomorrow.
Oh, yeah. Okay,
Yeah,
cool.
I'm
Bernie's
hoping that
tomorrow,
tomorrow
Biden's tomorrow,
Yeah.
Yang's tomorrow.
Well, I think we said we're going to
Harris is
cover it tomorrow.
I believe.
So
Yeah, so tomorrow, which
live, we're going to be covering it.
the Thursday debate, we're going to be covering it live for patrons. We were going to be doing we were going to do a ideology, but we decided we were going to cover the debate instead.
know you guys
want
wanna
to
see this shit.
Yeah, for sure. This will be a fun one. I hope the Yang Gang and the Booty Judge boys have like a rumble in the audience at some point.
Oh, yeah, dude. That'd be fucking cool.
Pink hats and light blue hats, dude. Let's do it.
Oh, yeah. You guys have any predictions?
Elizabeth Warren is probably going to get the dominant performance out of this because she's probably the best politician on the stage
They're
tonight.
gonna feed it to Warren, dude. It's gonna be Warren's gonna probably be night one unless she does some fucking major flub or does something stupid. Then night two is up for grabs. It's like, how is Uncle Joe gonna perform? Is Bernie gonna like what strategy is Bernie coming out with? I mean, is Uncle?
Yeah, I want to see those two grandpas go at it. I want to see Bernie flap his old toothless gums over
He's
at
gonna, if he's smart,
Joe.
he's gonna have to, dude. He's gonna have to go after Biden because
I want them both to
leading.
take their teeth out and put them in like a little glass of Alka-Seltzer next to them and really go at it.
I looked at what you said, TJ, and it seems like about the same time the graphs, like everyone kind of jumped. Like when Biden came out, he bumped, and everyone's kind of come down a little bit. Biden's come down a little bit, but Biden still has a commanding lead over the rest of the people in the field.
Yeah, TJ keeps downplaying that. He'll be like, "Oh yeah, Biden's lead is."
Hey, why don't you pull it up right
shrunk.
now? The poll averages, dude, because I looked at
Biden's
what
still
you said,
doing good.
and Biden still has I think he's about 15 points on Sanders, who's number 2.
Poll averages 2020. Real clear
Yeah,
politics.
let's go here. Pull us on the screen, TJ.
Yeah. Okay.
Proof is in the pudding. Yeah, you've been trying to downplay Biden's lead, but look at that. Biden is kind of he's stabilized.
Biden's bullshit. He ain't
Sanders
doing nothing.
has having a little bit of a bump, but still way down, way
Who's
down.
who in this? Okay.
Biden is the green. Sanders is
So
blue.
you see, Warren is rallying. Sanders is down a little bit from a.
The Sanders
Well, Sanders
campaign,
went down when Biden announced. You see that, and then they've been kind of moving back closer together, but Biden's holding pretty stable around the 30-point range. I mean, he's been in a decline since his height here.
I think Biden will win the nomination if he is able to have a good performance at the debates and not have a bunch of fucking. If Biden cannot be Biden, if he can somehow beat,
Dude, Biden is going to be a fucking disaster.
that's what I'm saying. If he, but
so.
I'm saying, but if Biden can command, can like just overcome what's fucking stymies in his political career, then Biden could potentially win.
Biden does well in one-on-one debates. He doesn't really do that great.
I haven't seen him in this environment
group
really.
debates.
So
He's been in this environment a few times. I don't know, man. Biden has always come out strong in these campaigns, and he always fucking flounders.
And I mean,
he's already said he's going to cure cancer. I mean, he's not.
There's going to be a lot of sniping though, because remember the Republican debates,
And
that
everybody
shit got nasty.
Look, everyone's going after, but everyone on this stage is going to go after Biden.
Well, you have to.
Because he's the leader, and he can't take it. And he's going to make gaffes, and he's going to say stupid shit. And
But it's his to lose, is what I'm saying.
people are going to start fucking pointing out his weird, creepy behavior with women
But people
and his
know
out
that.
of touchness and his
People know
poor
that.
track record.
That's
a lot of
that's
people
so
don't know
documented.
that though. A lot of people they don't know much about this. The only thing they know about Biden is he was vice president.
I don't
and when
think
all
that's
this other
it.
stuff starts to come out, he's going to fucking sink like the goddamn Titanic.
I don't know. I think it's Biden's to lose.
Yeah.
I really believe that. I mean, look, now Biden is probably going to make a lot of mistakes, so if he does lose it, it's that. But I mean, you're discounting that a lot of people want
Biden is basically he's just a wet fart.
A lot of
He's a
people
wet
want
fart.
Biden.
He's going to revert. He does a big
So far,
and it reverberates,
well,
but then
so
it fades
far what
into
you guys
a
have
stinky
saying,
smell.
so far what you guys
and
have been
he's
saying
gone.
has not jived with reality.
I mean, he's almost doubled
Unless
up. He's
you're
doubled
ready,
up on Sanders.
Unless you're ready to
This has barely begun.
it has barely, yeah. But right now, would you okay? If Biden has a great performance, I think it's going to hurt him tomorrow. That's what I'm saying.
He's not going to have a great performance.
But I'm saying
What if
we
he
don't
does?
know.
not going to have a great performance.
What if he reaches
How
deep
do
in
you
his
know?
soul and pulls out a fucking
He's not
showstopper?
gonna. He's not going to.
What if Bernie like
What
tries
if
to
Bernie
burn him on
shits his
something?
pants, TJ? What if Bernie's all like, "Excuse,
I just shit
oh my God, this is so embarrassing."
Can we pause the debate? I appear to have crapped my pants.
How do you know what's going to happen tomorrow night? No one knows. Tune in.
I know
Oh,
it's going to
God.
happen.
It's gonna be crazy.
Biden
Will
is,
Bernie shit his pants? Will Uncle Joe inappropriately touch a young girl? Will Elizabeth Warren do something that actually has note? I don't know.
Warren's not going to. Well, Warren's going to be tonight.
Oh, well, I guess tonight. Whatever.
But I would.
It's weird that she's not on this night.
I fully expect Warren to have a bump. I fully expect Biden to take a dive. That's what I predict is going to happen in the.
You know what? I predict Biden is going to be up 3 points.
TJ,
3
the
points,
Biden
TJ.
doomsayer, dude, from the jump, dude. From the
Dude,
jump.
I mean, you're going to see my prophecies come
TJ,
true.
is there another bet brewing?
oh shit.
Is there another? Oh,
You know
there?
me.
I mean, we already have a bet.
why not bet on the
About
Democrats?
Trump.
Why not bet on the Democrats?
Well, we already have a Trump bet.
Well, I don't know what that has to do with the Democrats.
I'm just saying we already
we
have
can-
a big
we can just
bet
have a gentleman's
that's
bet
waiting.
then.
A gentleman's bet?
Yeah.
What does that mean?
We're not betting money. We're betting for the fucking rights to be right, TJ.
the bragging rights.
All right. Well, all right. I'll tell you what.
Let me formulate this in my mind a little bit more, but I'll get back to you.
All right. No, I got a suggestion. So if Biden gets the nomination,
Okay.
then I will dress up like fucking Mario and do an entire episode as TGO.
That's not a. That's
My terrible character.
No,
punishment.
no. if I
No,
got
it
to
is.
choose, I got to choose the character. I got to choose the character.
No, but if you
It has to be conceivable you could do it though. I'll have that caveat. It has to
But
be
Yeah,
conceivable.
it can't be one that you're gonna enjoy trolling us with, though, like TGO.
Yeah,
It can't be
TGO
that.
would just be torture for.
Dude, you have an
No.
idea how much that would hurt
No.
my voice at the end of that?
No.
Yeah, but it would,
Oh,
but it
hurt
would
his
please you
voice.
to do it.
It would
No.
not.
It
It would
would.
not.
I get to choose the character.
No.
No.
'Cause, look, if it's gonna either be TGO or Scott TG, dude.
Scott TG.
Yeah, and he has
I
to
like
be.
Scott TG, but I don't like TGO.
Why not?
I don't know. TGO's.
me, Paul. It's
Yeah.
TGO.
See, you just enjoy that too much. You're gonna have to play
I
like.
would not enjoy this, Paul.
We'll come up with a
Crazy.
We'll be like dumb shit Dan or something, where you just gotta start every sentence with "duh." I don't know. Like maybe that's all you're allowed to say for a whole episode. is-
don't know.
Yep. Yep.
Paul.
Yeah. I like dumb shit Dan.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah.
Anyway,
Exactly, dude.
the next,
You don't have to do it now. You haven't lost the bet yet, TJ.
no, the next,
You can bury dumb shit Dan.
the next, story,
Okay, well, think of something else. I gotta think of something that you're actually gonna hate doing.
the
You're not gonna end up
next one,
trolling me with.
Paul, is, this
Oh,
story.
how about this? How about this, TJ? How about
We're going back to this. Okay.
how about instead you have to do an entire show with Gurgi?
Gurgi.
Yeah, instead of me as a co-host. I'll sit out and you've got to have an entire show with me.
Ew.
With me, TJ.
No, I don't want it.
If you lose the bet, you must do a show with Gurgi.
Gross. Man lives after bear breaks his spine and keeps him as food inside den.
Whoa.
Oh, poor bear.
Alexander, described as speaking mummy, found by hunting dogs close to death after a month.
Oh.
Look at this guy.
What the fuck?
Previously on AMC's The Walking Dead.
The emaciated man from Russia's remote Republic of Tuva was preserved as tin can food to eat later by a brown bear, say local reports in the region. A group of local hunters found Alexander after their dogs refused to leave the area of the den. Their persistent barking pushed the hunters to check inside the lair, where they found a barely alive man. He was rushed to the local hospital, has been diagnosed with a broken spine and severe emaciation. Alexander remembers his first name but not his age, and was reportedly in the den for around 1 month, drinking urine to survive.
What the fuck?
He is now in
dude?
intensive care with multiple injuries and rotting skin. He can move his arms, a local hospital doctor said.
Fuck.
A video shows Alexander opening his blue eyes and confirming his first name. It is as yet unclear if he was a hunter, too, and how his encounter with the bear happened. He managed to explain he was under attack and dragged inside the den when he broke his spine. The attack happened approximately a month ago, Alexander said. The bear preserved me as food for later, he explained. A video filmed inside the local hospital shows the man turning into a speaking mummy with his tissue rotting after laying motionless for so long.
Dude.
Local medics say they cannot explain how the man survived such injuries.
Leonardo DiCaprio won an Oscar for like The Revenant for like the bear attack, dude. You know what? He's got to take it one further. This biopic with this guy's life.
Yeah, dude.
In
Where
the
he's
fucking-
preserved.
In the lair, dude. He has to fucking and Leonardo DiCaprio will actually get mauled by a bear and live there for a month.
You could call it the piss drinking mummy. Sounds like a catchy title to me.
So it basically said that they're not sure if this actually happened in Tuva, is what this update says. So here's some comments. He was interfering in the 2016 election and mistakenly voted for Trump. Putin had him thrown to the bears. I don't even get that.
yeah.
Astounding seed of survival and luck. So the hunter stole the bear's food. Man, people are mean. This guy.
Some D-bags, dude.
Man, this dude right here.
Just make that commenter live in that fucking cave for a month.
If he survives this, man, he might wish he didn't. Like he is fucked up.
Yeah, he looks pretty gross.
What the fuck? That's just insane.
I'm wondering if this is going to turn out to be another fucking fake story where they just like
Yeah, we have to
rubbed
do
a
a-
bunch of shit on his face and was like, yeah, he survived the bear attack.
That is a mean-looking bear, though.
I think that's just
I know.
That's the bear.
That's the bear.
They
yeah.
found that on his phone. He took
That's
that
the
picture right
stock
before it
photo
dragged
of
him
the
away.
bear.
Yeah.
Well, that's our show.
Wow. What a note to end it on.
Yeah.
But
Wow. I mean,
yeah.
You don't really get much fucking crazier than that, dude. Lived in a bear den for a month as food.
Well, every time it ends, I wish it hadn't. You know.
It's me, TGO.
Okay, now it can
Yeah,
end.
nice
Wishing
try.
you bye-bye.
Nice try, TGO. Nice try.
Sky, do your Scott-G.
How does Luigi talk?
Just the same as Mario, pretty much.
It's a me, a Scotigio.
Scott-G.
I'm Scottigio.
It's Scott-G, dude.
Nah, dude, I'm Scotigio.
No, that doesn't. You're fucking ruining it.
See, it's all falling apart.
God damn it, Scott-Gio, you piece of shit.
It is a me, a Scotigio.
Ugh,
I'm a gonna win.
you sicken me.